What's up, KSP fans? It's dylloop, and welcome back to episode 6 of my KSP tutorial series. Today we will be going to the moon. That's right, I wasn't planning on going to the moon yet. I was planning on doing the docking tutorial first, but I've been getting a lot of requests for a moon tutorial, specifically from Josh and Corey. Hello, Josh and Corey. Here's a moon tutorial. So first off, what we need is a capsule. We put a parachute on it. I'm just going to go with the one-man capsule. You could go bigger. I'm just going to throw a random ship together because the moon actually is not hard to get to. It seems like a huge challenge. It really is not. So we'll go with that fuel tank there. We could even stick another small one on there just in case. You never know. Maybe we do mess up somehow and need a little extra fuel. And then I'm going to stick on this little poodle engine. And here, let's see, these landing struts, just the small ones, we're going to stick on 3 symmetry and stick them on there. Snap to angles just so they're even. And then what we want to do is get the ladders. We turn off the symmetry, and you can stick the ladders on like so, and I'm going to add an extra one. It doesn't matter if it's too long, if it's too short, that would suck. So we're going to stick on 2 ladders. Then, let's see, what else do we need? That's about it. That's our landing stage. This is what's going to land on the moon. Alright, next what I want to do is add, first of all, a decoupler. Let's get one of those. Decoupler. Just going to stick it on the bottom there. And then one of these. And then we're going to do another engine. It's going to be the atomic rocket motor. Perfect. And then this will be my deorbit, and most of the slowdown will be with this rocket motor. Good. Next, we're going to want to get our lifting stage. And this will probably be our stage for getting up to orbit as well. So we just get one of these little what are they called? The RockMax brand adapter. It'll let us put the big tanks on there. So I'm going to grab, first off, we want some RCS. So let me grab one of these. That should be enough. A giant fuel tank. Another giant fuel tank. Now this is going to be a little overkill for the lift stage, but it's better to have more than less. Alright. Just like those, what is it, progressive? Not progressive. Forget what commercials they are. More is better than less. Even the kids say so. So now all we need to do is put some RCS ports on this. I'm not going to put any RCS ports up here only because we don't really need them. This thing turns pretty quickly. I've already tested it out and everything. It turns alright. So I'm gonna just do symmetry mode. We're gonna do the center of mass, and I'm gonna stick one right here. Actually, we're gonna stick one right here, and then some down here as well. So just right here. Is that lined up? They are not. There we go. And this will just help us out with this giant stage here. Next off, we're going to want to add our decouplers for the radial decouplers. Again, I'm going to go with asparagus staging for this. So we want to add 2 here. And then some tanks. So just 1 tank. Stick it to the side of the rocket if it's not attaching right. I've already told you guys this one. If you could actually get it to stick to the side at all. Right, there it was. Why do you gotta be a pain? There we go. Alright. Oh, I had a big ol' sneeze. Alright, so now I should be able to just stick these guys on here. There we go. Those are stuck on there nice. And then just do this. Add the fuel lines. So from the tank to the main tank. There we go. We want this engine to ignite at the bottom. So let's do that. Perfect. And add some more engines on here. Those will add to the bottom stage as well. More decouplers. So we get 2 more. And just part snap them on there. Make sure these are properly done. Yeah, we want those to decouple first, because we're going to be lining this up. There we go. Wait. There. Perfect. It doesn't matter if it's not perfectly aligned. It's alright. Then we're going to want to add our fuel lines going from this tank to this one. on both sides, so do the symmetry and then check it. Last but not least, the last two engines and some struts. Let's get some struts. I'm not going to go with any winglets or anything. This should be a pretty simple flight. We just want to do this. Add the struts there. And that should have added on both sides. It did. Good. Here. Good. Oh. Alright, hang on one second. Okay. I went ahead and added some struts. I had a phone call, so I was just talking on the phone. And I added those struts. We're just going to add more. Just, you know, struts are nice. Doesn't matter if they're completely even. I don't think it'll affect it much. They don't weigh much. There we go. So we got our strutted ship. We got everything we need to get to orbit. Double checking the staging, and I'm seeing that it's right. And we should be able to do this. So let's title this one the Moon Lander. Save and launch. Alright, so getting to the moon is actually relatively simple. We already know how to get into orbit, and some of the maneuver node system from last episode. I'll be covering a little bit extra. It's all essentially the same for getting into the orbit, and getting to the moon does not require a whole lot of power or time, or even skill. Landing's a bit tricky, but nothing we can't manage, and I'll show you guys a really nice way to do that. So we're just doing a standard launch straight up, and then at 10,000 meters we'll start tip over. I'm noticing the rocket's slightly tipping. This thing is... You know what I forgot? I did forget something on this rocket. I'm just going to go quickly at it. I forgot SAS, so we're going to want that for sure. So let me just pull off this guy and stick an advanced SAS module on there. And good. Yeah, you're going to want that. That'll help out a lot for killing your rotation and your turning and stuff. I mean, you don't need it if you want to save on the weight. You don't really need it, but it's very helpful to have. So here we go. Jebediah is in the pilot seat. The brave astronaut, first astronaut on the moon in the save file. First astronaut to actually fly in the save file, because I did reinstall Kerbal Space Program. Because the parachutes. So I went ahead and reinstalled it on Steam. I could not figure out what was wrong, so I just reinstalled. Not too hard. Okay, so we're flying straight up into the air. Our first tank is about to run out here, and we'll just decouple it. I don't think it will collide with anything. It shouldn't. As long as you're not tilting sideways or moving the ship as they fall, you should be alright. Watch out for the overheating on these engines. I don't think it'll overheat right now, but they sometimes tend to with these big old Rockmax jumbo engines, whatever they are, the mainsails. Alright, so we're at 10,000 meters. I'm just going to tilt directly to the 90-degree heading. Perfect. Try to get it as lined up as possible. If it's a little off, it's not that big of a deal. We're going to run out on our second tank soon. And our apoaps is currently 45,000. Ran out. Bam. Drop those. Turn on our RCS. Stabilize ourselves because this thing is spinning madly. Alright. And then we're just going to wait till this guy gets to 100,000. And done. Alright, so we could add a maneuver node here. I'm going to. You don't really need to. It's a very simple maneuver. We won't actually be using a whole lot of maneuver nodes at all this tutorial. So we get paraps of 96, apoaps of 108. Then we could change that a bit. Just by 99, 102. Good enough. 45-second burn, and we're 2 minutes away from the node. So this should be relatively simple. Just turn on the RCS. Helps us turn. And we're going to want to start our burn at half of the time, so that would be 23 seconds, roughly. Just going to time... Uh-oh. Go away, error message. I'm not even out of the atmosphere totally yet. I was trying to time warp to kill my rotation, but I wasn't out of the atmosphere. 70 kilometers is the atmosphere. Okay. So here we go, lined up with our maneuver node. Remember, the blue marker is your maneuver node marker. We're going to wait until 30... 23 seconds. Turn off my RCS and time warp to the point that I need. So 33 seconds, go ahead and burn. I was a little late there, but it shouldn't matter. And we could watch on either the map mode or this mode, either way. Let's go ahead and watch this mode, just because you can see the Earth. Where's the moon at? The moon's right up there. Look at that. We're gonna go there right now. And this fuel tank should last the entire burn. And if it doesn't, we have this atomic rocket motor that is insane amount of doesn't use much fuel at all. It's very nice. We're almost done. 3, 2, 1, and stop. Good. Go ahead and delete this maneuver here. How are we doing? App-Waps 107, Periaps 67. Uh-oh, we need that a little higher. Alright, good. So now that we're here, I'm going to go ahead and hit F5 to quick save in case anything does go wrong. What you're going to want to do is time warp. Remember, period key is the time warp up, and the comma key is time warp down. And we're going to wait until the moon rises. So we're just going to time warp all the way around Kerbin. You can see a nice little nighttime side of Kerbin. Wonder if they're going to ever add cities to the game. See the stars turning past us. Alright, so let's see. Moon should be rising any second now, right after the sun. And as soon as you see the moon rise, you're going to want to cancel all of your time warp. There we go. Moon rise. You're going to want to line up with your prograde marker. Remember, that's the yellow one. And then just burn full throttle at it. Good. SES on. Go in your map mode, and you'll see your orbit is just going out really fast, and it'll intersect the moon right here. Moon's really simple, just because if you burn when the moon rises, you're gonna hit it. So there we go. We got an intercept. We can even change this a bit just to help us get a better one. Like trying to get a periaps off the surface of the moon. 54,000 meters. Good. So I just want a little bit. I'm gonna time warp until you reach this moon sphere of influence. We're almost out of fuel in this jumbo tank, but not quite, so we could use it. So we're just gonna time warp out. Watch the moon, or the Earth drift away, or Kerbin drift away, and the moon come closer. Where is it? Where's the moon at? Yeah, no matter. Where's Kerbin at now? There it is. Oh, there's the moon. So we're coming up on the moon now. We're almost intersecting. Once we hit that blue marker, we'll be in the moon sphere of influence. There we go. Perfect. So now what we want to do is wait till we get to periaps and then burn retrograde. So another quick save here in case we mess up. This is going to take a little bit of practice, so always quick save if you're not sure what you're doing. That way you can hold F9 to quick load and easily undo any bad things that happen. Alright, so we just need to rotate the entire ship. Retrograde. And retrograde is the yellow marker with the X in it. I'm actually going to... Uh-oh. Accidentally burned. Let me pause it and then turn this off. I don't want people messaging me right now. It's just offline. I keep forgetting to do that during my video. Alright. So rotating. We have plenty of RCS fuel. And like I said, you just want to go prograde. And go ahead and time warp to kill your rotation. Wait till you get to the periaps. It's going to take a bit, because the gravity of the moon is not great at all. There we go. Then just burn. And if you burn periap towards your retrograde, uh-oh, ran out of fuel. Just drop that tank. Drop the cowling and turn on the rocket engine. Oops. And we have no more RCS, but this thing should turn relatively easy. Just trying to get back to the retrograde here. Another phone call! Alright, let's get this this orbit good. So you just burn until you bring down your apoaps and then circularize your orbit. Full throttle's fine. So here we go. Almost there. There we go. There we are. So, I'll be right back in just a split second. Okay, guys, we are back. Split second, like I said. So, now we are orbiting the moon. If we go ahead and time warp, we'll come around the day side. Rather bleak and barren, isn't it? Perfect. Just how I like it. So what we're going to want to do now is just go ahead and wait until we get right above where we want to land at. And I'm thinking right here ought to do it. So we're waiting past there, right there. So what I want to do now is turn the entire ship retrograde yet again. And you could orbit as much as you want if you're not planning on landing, or if you don't want to land just yet. We're just going to burn retrograde. Should be pretty simple. Then your whole orbit will come down into the ground, and you should be able to straighten it out completely. Just try to keep it aligned to retrograde there. Perfect. Just bringing the whole thing down. Alright, now we're actually falling towards the surface as we speak. At 300 meters a second, pretty fast. Not too fast, though. But we're just going to burn until the orbit completely stops. Like, straight line down. And you could speed that up by lining a little bit lower than your prograde, or your retrograde marker, so that it'll start going up towards the top of the blue spot, the blue part of the nav ball. Because when you're landing, you want that retrograde marker to be lined up with that dot on the top of the nav ball as possible. Because that will mean that you have no vertical speed. So here we go. Coming down. And stop. Alright. Not completely done yet, but I need to take control of the ship a little better. Just burn slower. Because you don't want your orbit, your speed, to completely stop. Now, just get it lined up. There's multiple ways to do this. This is the way that I prefer to do it. A lot of people just tend to suicide burn at the bottom and at the last second. And I tend to blow up when I do that one. Alright, so we're just going to quick save here. So I got a phone call right after that. So all we got to do now is just wait. We wait until we're approaching the surface of the moon. We're going 90 meters a second. Now, if you divide this by 10, divide it by 10, so you take off 1 0 basically, and you get 521. That's how fast you're going to want to line up your speed. So we're just going to time warp a bit until we get a little bit closer here, and our speeds kind of match up. And then we'll do a controlled burn down. So if I reach, let's see, about there, we can start our burn and just kind of slowly but surely lose our speed. And that'll just get us to approach the ground. And again, we can just do a physical time warp now, because we don't want to wait for this whole thing. And we're not throttling up quite enough to completely kill our speed yet. We're going to want to wait until we get a little bit lower for that, but this is enough. We're just coming straight down. Now I'm using my atomic rocket motor to descend, but once I'm close enough to the surface, I'll drop it and let it explode, and then use a small engine to do the actual landing, because I want to save as much of this fuel as possible for the return. Alright, start throttling up more now that we're really close. Could even IVA and see the altimeter up here. Alright. As long as you don't start seeing rocks when you're going like 300 meters a second, you should be alright. Just trying to always try to keep this the retrograde marker aligned with the top of the nav ball. You can do that by kind of pushing it towards it, so going a little bit farther away than you need to. And it'll push it towards the middle. Alright, so now we're seeing rocks coming in a little fast, but nothing we can't kill. Just by full throttle burning. Engine's overheating a bit, shouldn't be a problem. Slow ourselves down. Yeah, just kind of, again, this part takes practice. Make sure to quick save before you do your landing, because you're going to want, if you mess up, you don't want to have to do the whole flight again. And you can just hold F9, load the quick save, and redo it. Alright, slowing down a bit too much there. Yeah, you don't want to start heading back up. I'm trying to just align my retrograde marker. There we are. Slowly coming in, ever so slowly, but that's good. You're gonna want your vertical speed right here above your nav ball below like 7. You could do it at like 0.1 if you're really good, but you want it anywhere below below 7. You don't want to be going faster than that when you hit the ground. Otherwise, your legs will break off, things will explode. You'll completely explode, tip over, whatever. And like I said, try to go straight down as possible by just lining up that retrograde marker. Because if you're not lined up towards the ground, you're going to tip over if you're going a little bit sideways when you're landing. We're coming extremely close here. We're still a little bit high. But I should be able to drop this off soon. So we're just going to... now that I see my shadow, I'm going to quickly stop the engines, drop that, and light them back up. That'll explode on the surface. Boom. Oh, I burned a little bit too much, so we slowed down quite a bit there. Not too big of a deal. Alright, like I said, below 0.7, or below 7. Uh-oh. Yeah, not a big deal. And touchdown. Perfect. Pretty simple. Those landing legs are really close, aren't they? Look how much space is between that rocket engine. Alright, so we are now landed on the moon. Actually, really simple. All there is left to do here is just extend our ladders and EVA the Kerbal so we can enjoy. I'm just going to let go. Turn on my little jetpack. No, turn on the jetpack! Oh, he fell over. Hey, let's go check out that fuel tank. So you hit R to turn on your jetpack, and you hit Shift to go up, Control to go down, and then your WASD to move the Kerbal. So, got a little fuel tank that'll forever be on the moon as a souvenir to our voyage. That didn't actually explode like I thought it would. The engine exploded, but the cowling in the fuel tank did not. So you can run around the moon, explore it. There's a few Easter eggs scattered around the moon that you could check out. But yeah, that's about it. So let's show you guys how to head home, which is even simpler than landing. I did this all in one take. I was actually not expecting that because a lot of times I'll mess up and crash. So we could just grab the ladder, board our ship. Bring in the ladders. You don't want to drive away with them out. It kind of looks funny. Aliens will laugh at you passing. So all you have to do now is just throttle up and get ready to go. Throttle up. And then it doesn't matter which way you turn. It doesn't matter where you're going. You just want to get your orbit. So I'm going to turn towards, I guess, this way. The moon doesn't rotate, I don't think. So it doesn't really matter. I normally turn towards 90 degrees. But I'm not. Alright. There we go. And I think 12 kilometers isn't... You're not going to hit anything on the moon. So we're just going to go to a 12-kilometer orbit and then bring out the whole thing. So our periapse is 12 kilometers. Just that's a little bit large. And we just want to break the sphere of influence like that. There we go. It's a 58-second burn time. Let's see if we can actually handle this burn. We should be able to with this engine. I go ahead and time warp until we get to let's see, 29 seconds. It's half of 58. Here we go. 29 seconds, full throttle. And bring in your landing legs. Not gonna need those anymore. We're leaving. going to back to Earth. So what'll happen here is we'll get our orbit like normal, and then we'll actually bring out the apoaps so far that we escape this moon sphere of influence and back into Kerbin's. How are we doing on fuel here? Pretty good. Hope we have enough fuel. I've done this twice already with this ship, so we should. Bringing it out. And as soon as you get the escape, like right now, no. There we go. Then exit that. Now we're gonna just want to time warp away until we get out of the moon sphere of influence. As you can see, the moon is drifting away from us ever so quickly. Nice. No, where's Kerbin? Unfortunately, I didn't even look up at Kerbin from the moon. We'll leave that to you guys. Go on the moon and look up at Kerbin. It's beautiful. You can even time warp when you're on the moon's surface to, if you land on the dark side, put landing lights on your craft, try to land on the dark side. Now that we're back in Kerbin's sphere of influence, what we're going to want to do is coast to apoaps, which shouldn't be too hard. We can actually time warp extremely fast because we're this far out of Kerbin's from Kerbin, and if we wanted to, we could even try to land on Minmus, but I'm not going to. I mean, you could try it. This ship probably has enough fuel to get there and back, actually, because it's got such low gravity. Just burn retrograde at your periaps, or apoaps. Just bring your periaps down. You don't want to land directly on the surface of Kerbin. Sometimes you'll be going too fast and your chutes will rip off. I'm not worried about it. If we blow up, that'll be fun. You just want to bring your periaps down to like 50. I'm just going to bring it down straight to the surface. Perfect. Alright. Now we're just going to time warp a bit until we get back to Kerbin. You don't want to go too fast, otherwise you'll like... it's weird. The game glitches and it'll slingshot you back out and you'll have to wait again. So here we are. No idea where I'm going to land on the planet yet. Looks like I'm going to land on the dark side, unfortunately. It's okay, we'll get to see a lot of those cool lighting effects out in the night sky. So, we're now in the atmosphere. I can go ahead and drop my tank. Cool, we'll see some cool atmospheric effects as soon as I enter the atmosphere. That'll be fun. And we're just falling. Tank falling behind us, the moon lander debris. We're going to land in the ocean. Here we are, some atmosphere effects for you guys. Even on there, that's cool. I wonder if I can see it out the window. Yeah, a little bit. Alright, we're going to want to pull our chutes, slow us down a little bit. Even the chutes are giving off atmospheric effects, and as you can see, I reinstalled the game so it fixed the chute texture. And we should be going fast enough to get the Mach 1 effects. As you can see, they're not much. You guys saw the little white come off. And that's about it. That's all we do now is land safely, and somebody, I'm assuming the Kerbal Navy will come rescue the Kerbals landed out in the middle of the ocean. There's some islands over there. We're actually relatively close. The KSC is over here. So we're relatively close to the KSC. We can even time warp, and you don't want to be going too fast on your physical time warp, otherwise your chutes will rip off. They open at 500 meters. So about 1,000 meters are going to stop that. 7, 6, 5, and open up. Then you could even time warp again until we land. Perfect. Nice, successful mission to the moon. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. It's a rather simple mission, no math involved. You don't even need to really use maneuver nodes. You can if you're not sure what you're doing. But we're landed now. It was a successful mission. So we can just end our flight, look at the flight results, see if anything happened. It was a 2-day, 20 hours and 28 minutes, 23 seconds mission. The highest altitude was 22 million meters, or 22,000 kilometers. Highest speed achieved was 3,000 meters a second, and the ground distance covered was, dang, 1 billion meters. Total distance traveled was 1 million meters. That's not right. Yeah, 100 million meters. And the most G-force endured is 22.4 Gs. That was probably a re-entering. That was a lot of Gs coming in, but it didn't matter because the chutes didn't rip off, and they don't calculate killing Kerbals through G-force. So if you don't want to end your flight, just go ahead and hit Space Center. I ended the flight, but you can just hit Escape Space Center and it'll stick the flight and then use the tracking station. Next tutorial should be a docking tutorial, maybe a min-miss tutorial, I'm not sure, just whatever I get more requests for. So we'll see you guys next time. Thank you all for watching and hope you enjoyed. Leave your comments if you have any questions or concerns. Goodbye.